On the surface, DK64 is a rare 3D collectathon, but if you take a deeper look, you may just very well find some mysterious things that beg the question, what is that? Or why? I intend to find some answers. To help me with this, I'm bringing on fellow Donkey Kong 64 defender Super Joe Bros.
Well, hello, Jiggy and friends. Excited to be here. Let's discuss the Banana Bunch.
This is the mysteries of Donkey Kong 64. The Size of Klumsy. Klumsy is King K. Rool's brother, introduced to us in DK64. Okay, great. That's cool. Only one thing. Why is he as big as DK Isle? King K. Rool actually wants to use him as a tool to crush the Kongs, but thankfully, he is kind-hearted and didn't want to hurt the cute little monkeys. He's a gentle giant. We have no idea why he's so giant though. Maybe it's his diet. If you look at his head, he's wearing the skull of a decent-sized Kremling. Perhaps he just was eating his own kind and this caused him to grow. Maybe the Kremlings can get to these sizes, but they don't because they're always starving, which is why K. Rool is often stealing the Kong's bananas. Klumsy just couldn't control himself, and perhaps the real reason he's locked away is far darker than we're led to believe.
Get out voice.
Get out.
Who is this voice, and why do we have to get out? After completing certain challenges, you're welcomed with this nightmarish voice telling you to get out and a target reticle coming on screen to blast you. At this point, there's a countdown timer, and if you let it reach 0, no more Kong. But who is this? How are they watching us or going to hit us? We can see the walls and ceilings. Is this Satan?
I wanted to chime in here just to reassure everyone, it is not, in fact, Satan. Upon further research, I found out it's a character named Croc, which was also an unseen enemy represented by an aiming cursor in Donkey Kong Country 3.
What if King K. Rool has hidden security cameras watching the Kong's adventure? A similar theory to Bowser watching over Mario in Super Mario 64, but why the warning? Why the countdown clock? Wouldn't it just make sense to just blast away immediately? I suppose the threatening voice is more than enough of a warning. When I hear it, I'm out of there.
The Pillar in Creepy Castle. In Creepy Castle as Tiny Kong, you can use the banana port in the ballroom to teleport to a room with a single pillar and a purple balloon floating around. Seemingly, there is nothing else to this room. The developer stated that it did indeed have a purpose at one point, and rumors circulated that it was related to Banjo-Kazooie's stop and swap function. We do know that stop and swap was a planned feature for a time with DK64. It does look like a pedestal that would present something with a light above it too. Makes you wonder what it could be. Maybe related to a specific character? The markings on the side at first glance appear like swirls, but I can't help but see a certain bird.
Giant Kosha in Crystal Caves. Another mysterious character of the game. The Kosha are small Viking Kremlings that carry giant spiked clubs, except for one mysterious Kosha that lives in Crystal Caves. As you enter this level, you'll get random tremors and stalactites falling from the cave ceiling. This is due to the Kosha at the top smashing his spike club down. But how did he get so humongous? And what ticked him off to start smashing the ceiling? Regular sized Koshas are tough enemies. These guys are invulnerable to basic attacks and need to be taken care of with special moves, while also dealing significant damage. Perhaps Kremlings can range in size dramatically, with giant ones just being really rare. Or this guy also ate other Kremlings. These guys are quite the opposite to Klumsy.
Crystal Coconuts. The crystal coconuts are a somewhat common power source in DK64. They are used to power the special barrels and your Super Slam move that you learn from the Banana Fairy Princess. I think the connection to the Banana Fairy goes even deeper than we think. In the DK Country show, the crystal coconut can heal injuries, power things, and even show you the future. It's insanely powerful. Seems the game counterparts aren't too far off. I think the Banana Fairies actually try to gather the crystal coconuts for their special powers. It's their source, which is why you see them all around and inside the island.
The size of the Kongs. One thing you probably never pay attention to is the size of the Kongs. In the game, they seem fairly close to one another, with Diddy and Tiny being smaller. But here's where it gets weird. In a Nintendo Power magazine, you can view the sizes of the Kongs with a measurement wall behind them. DK is our base, sitting at about 6 feet. Chunky stands past 7 feet. Lanky also at about 7 feet. Diddy sits at about 4 feet, and Tiny at about 3 feet. And I bet you didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Lanky Kong, Schmanky Kong. In Donkey Kong Country, we meet the Mankey Kongs. Not really one specific Kong, but referring to an entire species of Kongs. These are the orange orangutans that hurl barrels at Donkey and Diddy. These Kongs have been rejected by the rest of the Kong species due to their rugged appearance and general bad attitudes. Lanky happens to be a reject among rejects. His own Kong family rejected him, probably for his funny face. I noticed he has a nose like Rudolph, so I imagine it's a similar situation. Lanky fortunately becomes friends with the opposing Kong crew and becomes good friends with DK. Tiny, running up trees. When watching the DK rap, you see Tiny Kong being referenced as quick and nimble, and as that's happened, she is running up a tree. Why is this? How can Tiny run up a tree like that? She never does it in the game. Am I the only one who saw that and tried to figure out how to do it?
How can Klumps eat orange grenades? The only thing to kill them. I think this is a product of the starvation issue mentioned earlier. The orange grenades are weapons available to the player, and yet the Klumps can be seen eating them. As the orange makes its way down the Klump's stomach, we can see it set off a mini explosion, followed by a hearty belch. So while these are one of the few weapons to kill them, why would they eat something that can kill them? I will say, I noticed that they carry around green ones, which oranges can come in green. It means they're nice and ripe for eating. So maybe that's why they can eat those, but not the more potent and volatile orange variant. But I love the concept of these Kremlings getting bored on the job and wanting to try out an orange grenade.
Cranky Kong, Donkey Kong connection. Cranky is DK's father according to Donkey Kong 64, but in the Country series, DK has been referred to as his grandson. This leads people to wonder what happened to DK Jr., if this modern day DK isn't him. Well, in DK 64 they retcon this and put Cranky as his father, making our current DK Jr. all grown up. This was also the route they took in the movie that was produced by Shigeru Miyamoto, who created DK in the first place. He seemed to prefer the father angle himself. While I admit there are more games referring to DK as Cranky's grandson and Cranky being the original DK from the arcade games, DK Jr. being just gone doesn't feel right. I wonder where he's been the whole time. For that reason, I can't help but feel our current DK is in fact DK Jr. The face buttons behind K. Rool. When we get a glimpse of K. Rool's office, and more importantly, when we can actually enter it, you'll notice this wall. It has mysterious buttons with each Kong's face on it. Why is this? I think this is simply a reminder for K. Rool. It's just a way that he kept track of the Kongs he's trying to stop. Since all Kongs have forgettable faces to him, and he's an idiot, it helps him be able to recognize them. Well, that's all I have for you. Be sure to banana slamma that like and subscribe button. Also, go check out Super Joe Bro's content. Click his name in the title.
Thanks for having me, Jiggy. I love talking anything about Donkey Kong 64.
Until next time, have a good one.
Peace out.
Jiggylookback!